C'est quelle arena?
La 1, putain, Hugo.
Battle
Je te l'ai
Arena 1.
broadcasté, c'est la Battle Arena 1.
Regarde le local. Ouais, ok, warpé à combien?
50, voire pas 50. Avec
Voire
mon
pas
fichier.
50, ouais.
So every time we had practiced this comp recently, we had won by just rushing and dunking the enemy logistics real quick and then cleaning up from there. And we had also revised this comp for this first match for more pilots, which involved adding a few interceptors. So with that in mind, when we landed and saw that we had come in at an angle and that the enemy had a scimitar there, we see what feels like a fairly clear path towards it, and that's what we've done in practice. We've got the interceptors to grab it. Obviously, we think that that's going to be the best primary.
Oh my god, Fiend.
Seriously?
They brought a Fiend.
What is this?
Is that
ATXIV
the...
Oh boy, it's battleships, because there's so low points right now.
Oh shit.
So you heard War Destin call out that they brought a Fiend, which is a cruiser-size Alliance tournament prize ship, which I like to think means that our opponent was taking this match seriously. But for whatever reason, it didn't click for me that that is a heavy interdictor. I know some of the prize ships are heavy assault cruisers. There's some weird cloaky things, and the Atana is a well-known logistic ship, but I just didn't have that memorized that was a heavy interdictor, and so that contributed to me being unprepared for the situation coming up here.
Qu'est-ce qui se passe? J'ai pas compris.
Simi.
Scorpion
Scorpion.
Navy. Okay. Is
Okay,
there
guys.
Vargas coming?
We're at a really good angle to nail their
Double
Simi.
Scorp Navy.
Mais on les défonce, non?
À part pour le Fiend, ouais.
Okay, so in my
Okay, so
opinion,
anyway,
we
gonna
can nail
grab
that semi.
scimitar. We
Yeah.
really need
Yeah.
to catch that.
Scimitar, then Scorp Navies. They've got a couple of Hound, so we should get those frigates killing them, interceptors.
yeah, and we should put our light drones.
Or the Onyx. Onyx should do that, yeah.
And
Alright, so we're gonna...
support wing. Try not to die too early, you know. But just to stay
Please
alive.
keep come clear, only talk for short, relevant information.
There's a Drake, what the?
What do you want the Merlin after?
Merlin, you need to screen for me, so just try to keep the Sviples off. Pick a Sviple and tackle him.
Okay.
So what's the primary order, please? First,
Hard Russian.
semi.
Flycatcher? Not Flycatcher, Scimitar.
Countdown's
if
at
you've
30
got-
seconds.
Light drones
I'm
and
at
rapid
49
lights kill the
kilometers
Hounds.
from the scimitar, so I can get him.
Okay.
So you can hear pretty much everyone in agreement about rushing the Scimitar. KitKat in the Onyx thinks he's close enough to get a scram on it, but we're about to find out that it's 100 MN fit, which is going to cause a lot of trouble.
Be careful not to boundary. Guys.
Yeah, it's going to
15
be
seconds. 15
Alright,
seconds.
hardener's on, sensor boosters on, everything else on.
links up, overloading my guns.
Okay, let's go. One, go.
Go. So 5 seconds into the match, I'm scrambled by the Fiend. It takes me a minute to realize that that's what's happening and that it's a heavy interdictor. And I'm obviously way out of range of the Scimitar. I can't help kill it, which I would normally do and have done in practice.
Okay, the Scimitar is painted.
Damascus, I'm scrambled by Fiend.
Scrum on scimitar.
So now I'm a bit flustered, and my instinct is to try to kill bombers because they can do quite a bit of damage to our rattlesnakes. So I lock them up, but they're also out of range. Now, for the sake of analyzing this match, I'm going to do a countdown of how many ASB charges are remaining in our targets. There were logistics drones on the Scimitar, so there's times where it's hard to tell if a small boost was from drones or if it was from the Scimitar taking a bunch of damage and then boosting in the same server tick. So I'm only going to count down when there's very clear and obvious large boosts, but what this means is it's possible that it actually had less charges than I'm showing here. Could never have more, but it's possible it would have less.
I'm taking a lot of damage, flagship.
How's their Scimitar doing?
No, absolutely not.
So So probably my biggest mistake here was getting tunnel vision on the fleet objectives and not realizing that I could have just been shooting the Fiend or one of the Scorp navies who were pretty much right beside me. We did shoot the Fiend later and it got pretty low, so if I had been putting pressure on its ASB this early in the match, it's possible that we could have broken it later. And my other issue is that I was flailing a bit, changing ammo types a lot, partially because I'm not super fluent with projectile weapons, but I did know that the resistance hole is basically opposite between the Minmatar Tech 2 hulls and the Caldari standard resistance profile, which the Fiend also has.
We need a time to have a grappler yet.
Pfeiffer, Hound, put your drones on Pfeiffer and the Hound.
We need
How
small
laser
bombs on
raptors
that
now?
scimitar.
Okay.
They've got too many dodge on.
Okay, he's grappled, I'm starting to approach him. I am at 25.
Alright, we've lost both Raptors.
Yeah, I'm overloading my target painter.
He's
Okay,
out
I-
of range for me.
Ah yeah, I'm tight in the rattlesnake.
Okay, alright. Oh, we need to switch targets now. We need to switch target. Pick a, can you grapple that Fiend and kill it?
So when War calls out about the Fiend, I realize how close I am to it and can focus on it.
It's not possible.
I can get a web on the Fiend.
One of those Vipers.
William Hazard is getting really, really dunked right now. Can you overload your shit?
So, are we switching or not?
Yes, what?
Yes, yes, yes.
To the Fiend?
Switch on the Fiend, yes.
Okay, squeeze me and mash yours. Vipers.
Fiend
Vipers.
is
He's
webbed.
grappled.
Alright, Onyx, have you killed those hounds?
Fiend is
Kill
webbed,
them.
Scimitar is really far away.
Getting too much rest.
So we actually find ourselves in a surprisingly good situation against the Fiend because the Scimitar has burned way off to save itself. You'll notice in my ASB countdown there's a few boosts that I don't count because I can't be sure with their size if they're ancillary boosts. Maybe the Scimitar was operating in super deep fall off. There doesn't seem to be any logistics drones on it, so it's definitely not that. But in either case, the Scimitar comes back in, the Fiend burns out to it, and they close enough range that it's gets saved by their Scimitar. Also, I fail to notice that it's dropped scram on me. I've pretty much, by this point, just accepted that I'm perma-scrammed. So that didn't help because then I lost web on it, which contributed to it being able to get into full optimal of their Scimitar. Fiend is
Scimitar is
webbed.
very far away from them. He can't
Fiend
fight
is
them.
webbed, he's in
Really
half.
far away.
Yeah,
We're
that
gonna dunk this
Fiend-
Fiend. Overload on the
Merlin's
Fiend.
under armor.
Alright,
Merlin's in the hull. Merlin down.
roger that.
Wow, my capacitor is shit on the Vigil.
Scimitar is
How many
moving
cap
back
charges
in.
are you at, William?
If the Scimitar had risked initiating an ASB reload the moment that our DPS dropped off from it, it could theoretically have been reloaded by now. However, if it hadn't, since it's now come back in, it's possible that we would have been able to break through it if we'd refocused to it. Same goes for the Fiend. If it was down to only a few charges left, if we'd been able to force the Simi off or finish off the Simi, there would have been not a whole lot of ASB left for it.
Repeat.
How many cap charges
Recommend
are you at,
booster.
William?
3 left.
Okay. The
Not
Fiend is
working.
holding, you're saying?
That's my point.
I have to start overloading.
Okay. Alright, we need to switch targets for some reason, I think.
Yeah.
Can we...
After the Fiend broke free, I saw Svipple in armor, so I tried shooting at him, but he got saved as well. Then I noticed that the Scimitar had, because he had come in to save the Fiend, was close, so I tried putting some pressure on him.
So is it not possible to get that Scimitar attack?
No, I am still web, I can't get it. It's too
By
far.
what? What by what?
Can we go for the Scorp Navy fuel? It's far away from the lodgy.
We're just
Or
done.
maybe.
Which one?
The one that was in the shark.
I'm gonna
Alright,
keep.
where's down?
Just there, you heard me say I'm gonna keep, and I meant to say I'm gonna keep pressure on the Simi, because I noticed he was finally inside my fall off. I had already gotten aligned in his direction, burning with my micro warp drive. Even though I'm webbed, I can still move at 600 meters a second, and he was practically stationary. So I was gonna get in there and apply some damage.
Or Onyx, can
Okay.
you kill the Hound?
No, I can't. They're getting too much rest.
Okay. Damascus, why are you tackled so far away? Can you kill that flycatcher?
I will try.
Right.
So obviously Wardestin didn't know that I had been tackled for a long time. And to be fair, though, I had sort of given up on moving and wasn't really aware of the positioning on the field. I was operating mostly on just whatever opportunities I could see directly in front of me.
Okay, Arya reloading with
I'm killing
the
drones.
rattlesnake.
The damage is split, I don't understand what the fuck happened.
And then something shitty happened. You probably didn't even notice it, but see how I'm now keeping at range instead of approaching the scimitar? I have my keep at range button set to 1,000 kilometers and use it as a basically distance myself from command. So I'm going to rewind and show you what just happened. Try.
Right.
I realized I got too many targets locked to lock up the flycatcher, so I click on a hound to unlock him. When I click on him, the selected items window populates with icons, and then right when I go to click the unlock button, the icons resize. There's a bit of a delay in the UI, and I end up clicking on keep at range. So now I'm keeping at range 1,000 kilometers from the hound instead of keeping on the approach trajectory towards the scimitar. So that doesn't help things either. I noticed the hound is still locked, so I go and click again, but I didn't realize that the reason it didn't delock was because I had clicked keep at range.
What the fuck happened?
Alright,
for
so
this
you get
company.
back. Alright,
I
you
will
get
be
back
dead
to
soon.
William.
No, I am web.
Why what?
Okay.
Are we
but
shooting the
Flagship
Scorpion
down.
or the
Alright, flagship
Scimitar,
down.
guys?
The score.
It's always the Scorpion. We haven't shot the Scimitar for 5 minutes.
Yeah, but someone is.
I was shooting him when he came back in.
If somebody's keeping drone pressure on him, that's like no big deal.
Okay, I am taking a lot of damage.
Alright.
Fully tackled once again, and at shitty ranges from everything. I try shooting the flycatcher, but obviously can't kill it. William's already dead, Arya's breaking, so by this time it's pretty much over.
Damascus, can you stop approaching him?
Okay,
Can you stop approaching the flycatcher?
Yeah, yeah.
Arya, I'm breaking.
Alright.
Too much GPS.
Okay,
I'm
so
overloading everything,
Yeah.
but I won't last time. I'm already on structure. Overloading on everything, trying to apply damage to scope TV, but it won't fall. I'm too far away from the logi. Okay, I'm already dead. Just poke pedal.
In the end, I don't think there was anything intrinsically wrong with our composition or our call to go after the semi as primary. When you look at the ASB charge count, you can see how close we got to killing it. Once we switched to the Fiend, we started wearing its ASBs down. Obviously, it's a super high value ship for them too, so it put a lot of pressure on them and drew the semi back in. I think if we were able to quickly refocus and reapply damage to the scimitar, there's a chance that we could have killed it at that point. Then if we were able to pick off a bomber or two to reduce the incoming damage to our rattlesnakes to keep them alive longer so that they could slug it out with their Scorp navies, maybe also switch back to the Fiend, which we would have worn down its ASB as well. We could have got some kills, maybe stayed alive long enough to win. It would have been tight, but I think even up to that point there was still a chance. It was just really hard to keep track of what was going on in the field, and I think we were a bit slow to react to the fact that the semi was 100 MN as well, which was not good. For me personally, obviously I made a few mistakes and I could have performed better in general, but that Fiend scramming me right from the start was a really good call because I'm an autocannon Sleipnir, so it kept me from getting into any decent range, which in turn led to a bit of a psychological flustering where I was slow to react to things, and that combination was just tough. So it's easy to blame it on the Fiend, but as you can see from my perspective, it definitely was a problem for me. The Fiend, that's a heavy interdictor, is it?
Yes.
Yeah, see, I didn't realize that. I got instantly scrammed. That's why I was so far away from everything the whole time.
Yeah.
I'm down.
There's much better screen.
Bullshit.
Nice going.
Oh, Rufus is still alive.
Bruce.
Did we lose
Okay,
our
I'm
flagship
okay.
today?
Yeah, we did.
Nice.
Can you leave to Lost, William? I want to log.